Hello everybody, this is Ronald at Win911 and thank you for joining us for our next installation of our how-to instructional video series. This is video number 4 and we'll be covering the mobile 911 SMS and voice notifiers. Alright, so here we go. Bring up our configurator here and you can get there a couple different ways. From contact here and then the options show up there. Or you can get to it from here as well. So we go to contacts and then we're going to start with our mobile 911 settings here. In general, as you're working through this, we recommend starting from left to right as you configure it for the first time, starting with contacts, notification, alarming, and so on and so forth. Left to right is your friend, little tip and trick there. Try to keep that in mind. So we're going to start with our gateway here, and that is how do we get to the outside world. So we're going to put in our server settings here. This is our demo server settings, so don't put that in. You'll actually want to put in where you have the mobile 911 server installed and then the port to connect to it there. Once that's input, you can test the connection. Mine's not going to work if I test it because that's the mobile test server. It's not set up to reach this machine, but yours will work, hopefully, if you set it up right. And then connections are who are we going to be contacting. So I'll show you how to set that up. Click the plus sign in the bottom left to create a new one. We will create a name called Ronald because that name is fantastic. And we'll call this Ronald's mobile app. And then the device ID, which you can get that from inside the mobile app itself. And then our schedules, which will tell the system when I should be able to be contacted. And again, you can use one of the pre-canned ones or you can create your own schedule, which we can do that here, and we'll get to that in an upcoming video. And then any role you want to assign to this notification method for Ronald, for myself, such as manager, operator, maintenance, or whatever else you want to assign. You can use that to group like people together and then send out things that way. So let's go to our different tabs up here. The alarm format, I'm sorry, it'll give you little error messages here if you forgot something. So let's go back and correct that. Device ID, let's put something in there. There we go. We're going to save that so that message goes away. Okay, and our alarm format here is how do you want it to look. You can select one, I'll show you what that looks like here. And you can pick which one is most aesthetically pleasing to you. Same thing on the report format. You have several options here. By several, I mean exactly 2. So hopefully that will suit your fancy. But again, pick the one that fits your preferences the best there. You can have simple or more verbose. Our acknowledgement options are here. You can allow people to acknowledge with the password or to not acknowledge at all. And so if we're going to have a password assigned, we need to put that password that we want in there. Let's move on to the next one. So you can request alarm information as well, similar to the other notification options there. You can do all alarms or specific alarm labels that you want to allow to be requested. And then utilizers our bookkeeping space. Anything that's utilizing this specific notifier connection will show up here. All right, so that's mobile connections. Go to the formats here. And then formats again is what you want it to look like. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pre-canned options there, which you cannot edit those, but you can copy those and then work with them from there. So let's make a copy of our text short. We're going to call it text short underscore copy. And then again, you can modify the underlying code to make it appear as you would like. I'm going to X out of that. And we're not going to save those changes here. I am sure. There we go. And then again, you can see what that looks like for each of those. And then you can see what is utilizing those there. You can see Ronald is utilizing the simple report from earlier that we were playing with. So that's mobile. Let's move on to SMS. Again, very, very similar. How do we get to the outside world? Who are we contacting? And what do you want it to look like? So our gateways here, we're going to add a new connection there, give it a name, Ronald Cell. And then we're going to configure the rest of this here. And then down below here you can select your connection type here. I'll point out too that if you're using SMS, you're going to need a small piece of hardware to go along with this. We've got two options. One will connect directly to the computer, either through serial or USB. The other is an Ethernet connection. Adds more flexibility. Depending on the location, you may want to install that piece of hardware next to a wall, next to a window. The Ethernet model does not have to be connected to a computer, just to the network via an RJ45 cable. So you've got some flexibility as far as where you want to set that up at. And then the port here, and then you can click on here for available ports, or you can type it in manually. And then the type of the radio. Are you trying to connect to a Verizon modem, an AT&T modem, so on and so forth. And then there's an optional space for the init string there. And you can enable incoming messages from here. Again, if you want that one-way or two-way communication. And some advanced setting there. That's pre-filled with the default settings. If you want to change it, you can do so right there. And it's going to give us an error here because I did not select the COM port, so we'll do that to make it leave me alone, and we'll move forward here. All right, connection. So who's going to be utilizing this? So we'll name this connection here Ronald cell phone, call it iPhone, country code. I'm in the US, so that's my country code there. And then the phone number. And then again, you can apply a schedule or a role to this specific connection there. And you can also send a welcome test message to give them just some information on how to interact with the system itself. And from here we can go to the format. Again, what do we want it to look like? Have several options there as far as what that text message being received should look like. Same with the report format here. A couple options, long and short report. You want more information? That's great. If you want less information, that is also great. Our acknowledgement options, we can allow them to acknowledge not at all with a ticket, or with the ticket and a password there. And if you're going the password route, you need to specify that in here as well. Our requesting options, again, this should all look very, very familiar. We can request all alarms or allow them to request only specific labels. Again, these are specific to the connection type. So right here, you might select, hey, I want safety to be allowed. And then under mobile, you might have selected that I want buildings to be allowed and not safety. And so they're independent of each other there. And then the utilizers, which people or which connection types are utilizing this. And then formats again. And then what do we want the things to look like there. Same as always, we give you several pre-canned options there. You can copy those if you want to edit those. And then you can click on any to see what's utilizing that there. I don't think I had any that were utilizing it, but if I did, they would show up right here. All right, let's go ahead and go on to voice. We're going to configure our gateway, how to get to the outside world. Okay, we have a couple options for voice. This version supports the USB TAPI, or it has VoIP support. If you're on the TAPI side, we recommend installing the TAPI modem or attaching that, plugging it in via USB on the computer where this is installed. And then if it is, I don't have one on here, but if it is, it'll pop up on that drop-down box right here. And then if you need a prefix to get to the outside world, type that in here. On the VoIP settings, there's no hardware that's needed. It's just typing in your SIP settings there. So you can type in all those things and that'll get you set up right there. And again, down here again, if you need a dialing prefix to get out to the outside world, you type that in here. But all of these settings should be provided by your manufacturer there. And then please consult the website because we'll provide a list of VoIP systems that we know it'll work with. Not saying it'll only work with those systems, but we know it'll work with the ones that are provided there. And then you have a couple extra tabs here on the gateway side. On the audio, you have some voice selection options there. And you have some additional options as far as volume or slowing or speeding up the rate of speech. And then you can have a greeting message, which is able to be changed. And then you can have a codec, your audio codec auto-selected, or you can specify one if you would like to. Several options that are there. And then you can allow people to save messages or store undelivered messages. And you want to specify here how long you want to be able to have that allowed to happen. So you can go from 8 hours to a lot of hours. And you can also purge those messages here if you so choose to save some space. All right, got that set up. Let's go to the connections, which is again, who are we contacting? So we're gonna say we're gonna call Ronald home, and we're gonna call, home phone number, and we're gonna make up a number here because I don't want you people call me at home as much as we like you. So I'm gonna make up a number. There we go. And we can allow it to be interactive, which is they can acknowledge back, or non-interactive, which is just that they will receive the call but not be able to do anything else with it, which if you click that, you'll see a little error message pops up saying that same basic thing there. Click OK and we'll make that back interactive here. And we have an authorization code, which needs to be 1 to 25 digits, and it cannot begin with a 0. So we're going to make ours something just to show you there. And then same thing, you can have a greeting message specific to myself. So you can say, hey Ronald, this is a big deal. Can't type today, please respond, whatever you'd like to have. If you don't put a specific message there, it'll use the default one, but you have the option there to personalize that with. And then your schedules, when should this person be allowed to be contacted, and then do they belong in any specific user groups there. In our alarm format, since it's not being looked at, this is how you want it to come across or sound. A couple of options there. And so you can preview these as well once you select one. This is our default. Let's say you want to go to the short version. It'll show you there typed out what it's going to say. Then you can also hit the play button to play a preview, which we'll try that now. Oh, we didn't select the voice on the audio tab. All right, so we'll come back to that then. But again, once you set it up, you'll be able to do that and see what that's like there. Okay, we have our reporting format here. Again, same thing, different options there. And then you can see once you change those what that looks like, and then you can preview those from there. Speech synthesis, so you can override the settings for this specific connection if you'd like to. So if you want everybody to have one certain voice selection, but one specific person or 2 or 3 to have a different one, you can do that here. And our utilizers, our bookkeeping space, which folks are utilizing this connection. And then you can use this to configure favorite alarm requests. That way if you want to see which ones people prefer, you can do that from here as well. And then our options tab. So do we want to allow the connection to acknowledge alarms, yay, nay, or with the password? If with the password, specify it there. Same thing with deleting, same thing with requesting here. We can do all alarms or specific ones as well, which we can select from there. And let's look at our formats here, which is again, how do you want this to come across? Not look like, but how do you want it to be heard? Different options there. And then of course we can always click here to copy one, and then we can edit it from the copy there. All right, well that is about all we got for you on this video. Any questions, concerns, comments, feedback that you have, feel free to call us or email us. We are here to help. And then in our next video, we're going to move on to roles and schedules, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for joining in.